everybody, and welcome to Lead Well this week. And I have a really lovely book which is called Return on Ambition, which is a radical approach to achievement, growth and well-being. And this book is very special to me, even before I opened its pages, because it was given to me as a gift from a total stranger who is the co-author Nicolai Tillisch. And I just thought that was such a kind and inspirational thing to do. Nicolai is a renowned leadership coach already, and just the fact that he took the time to post this book the whole way to Cyprus, it's not easy to post things here, and he wrote a little message on the inside cover. It just reminded me of the kindness of people and how other people are still out there supporting total strangers. So thank you, Nicolai. It really touched my heart that you did that. So I just want to launch right into 3 key takeaways from the book, and then we'll get into a few gems from the book. So the 3 core takeaways from the book are: number 1, we need to look at our return on ambition in a more holistic sense. So how do you become highly successful while living a fulfilling life and growing as a person? So basically, looking at the return on ambition in a different way, not sacrificing different elements of it for the other. So return on ambition equals achievement plus growth plus well-being. I'm going to come back to that again in a little moment. Number 2, the second key takeaway that I took from the book is you must be very precise in defining what your ambition actually is. Because recall, ambition is a powerful yearning and drive to attain a future state that is different from today and challenging to reach. So you can't be fulfilled if you don't have a sense of perspective about what would be more valuable to you in the future compared to the present. So you don't want to get somewhere and don't actually even know that you reached there. So to have a very clear definition of what the premises of your ambition actually is. And then the third key takeaway that I took from the book is just be mindful of your frenemies. So as ambitious entrepreneurs and leaders, we often have what we consider a lot of core strengths, and we just need to be careful that within those core strengths, they can also act as our enemies in some way. So let me give you an example. So boldness, the ability to move quickly and throw yourself into new challenging situations, or to miscalculate what is required to attain your ambitions. The book is very, very clever, and as you can see, look at the amount of post-its I have. It is more than a book. It's much, much more than a book because it's self-coaching sessions. There's a lot of self-assessment tests. There's a lot of exercises that you need to do and do again. It's definitely a book that I am going to read a few times. The book really holds your hand throughout though, and I'm just going to try and find the page that actually really shows how easily the book is laid out, because when you first open it, you're a bit like, whoosh, this is a lot to take in, and how am I going to get my head around all of this? But they have such a clever way of laying out the book that it makes it easier. And I also have been jumping between sections, so that also helps. So as you can see here, they show you the 3 core parts of the book and what you will be revealing in each, what you will be doing in each. So part 1 really zones in on the return on ambition. So, really defining what your personal ambitions are and measuring the return on that. Part 2 gets into the frenemies, which I just mentioned. And I really love the frenemies part because it really simplifies things, but it also makes you really self-aware as to how you could be doing things to keep yourself back, to stop yourself from reaching these ambitions. And the 7 include convention, and in a negative sense, convention as in we get stuck in expectation and routine. Boldness, which I mentioned already, independence, competitiveness. I really like this frenemy that they mentioned, competitiveness, because of course as an ambitious person, it is good to be competitive, to have the drive, but also to look at what cost, and is it more important to actually weigh your standards and be competitive with your former self rather than with other people. So that was one that I thought was really made a lot of sense and spoke a lot of truth within that chapter. Then we have perseverance, desire, flexibility. So flexibility, being a frenemy, is the ability to adapt to different people and situations, or on the flip side, are you constantly being swayed by others? So I also mentioned that it's much more than a book, because it is so much more than a book. And part 3 really goes into kind of really putting self-coaching sessions into action. There's a lot of homework to do. I call it homework, but I don't like that word. There's a lot of work that you need to do on your own, and I did start some of it, but I'm not quite there yet. I will go back and keep doing the exercises, because they also do suggest that you don't just do them one time, that you also look at your progress and go back and do them several times to map out your progress and see how you actually are getting on. And near the end of the book, they also talk a lot about hacking your brain, and it's basically before you reach the 3rd section, which is the self-coaching session of the book. And I just highlighted this paragraph because I thought it's really important to remember this. So the human body is the most complex known organism in the universe. You have almost 100 billion neurons in your brain, and that's without counting the neurons in your heart and gut. There's an awful lot that science cannot explain yet, and probably never will. Just a simple thought can cause a plenitude of chain reactions in your head and the rest of your body. I just thought it was really important to remember that as we move through life, and as we are constantly ambitious and looking for this future state, to just hold on to the fact that, it is complex. We are complex. So yeah, this book is a special book, and it's definitely a self-coaching tool. And I'm just going to close with their finishing line, both authors, why they wrote this book and the purpose of the book. So we wrote this book with the intention that the fuel of ambition should propel us all forward in a more collaborative, loving and peaceful manner. And I think you can tell definitely from Nicolai, who sent me the book, that is a core goal within him, because he gifted me the book. So yeah, it's from 2 renowned coaches, Nicolai Chen Nielsen and Nicolai Tillisch. And Nicolai Chen Nielsen, I read, is a McKinsey consultant. So yeah, it's really worth a read, guys. It's a good book. It is quite in depth, but as I said, there's a lot of hand holding, there's a lot of reflection, self-reflection, and there's a lot of chances to really look within and become clear on what your ambition is and what the return on that ambition is. So yeah, good book, good read, try it out. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.